Alright, it's going to be working with quadratics again. So, going back to the first video, going to have to be getting our coefficient as 1. So we're going to be breaking down our g into the start of both of our factors. So we have g here. We're going to be adding, since both of these are adding, we're going to be adding. And then we got to break down the factor for 6. So what makes up 6? So 1 and 6 make up 6. What else go into 6? 2 times 3 also makes 6. And that would be it. So what of these factors make up 5 if we're going to add them together? So if we could add 6 and -1, that would make 5, or we could do 2 plus 3. But if we did -1 and 6, then one of these two would be negative. So 1 and 6 will not work. So 2 plus 3, both being positive, since both of these are positive, that would be the route we would take. So we would have 2 here and 3 here. So g times g would be g squared. G times 3 would give us 3g. 2 times g would give us 2g. 2g plus 3g equals 5g, and then 2 times 3, which equals 6. Going down here, now we do have some negatives. And so when we have negatives, that means our answer must be negative, or it must have a negative in it. So we have x here and x here. Since we have x squared, that's not going to change. Now, breaking down 17. The only thing that goes into 17, so 17 is a prime number, is 1 and 17. So, how do you turn 1 and 17 into a -16? Well, if the back number is negative, this is a lesson in itself. If the back number is negative, then that means one of the numbers must be negative. If they're both negative, this number will be positive, because then you'd be doing a positive times a negative makes it negative, but then a negative times a negative number, 2 negatives make a positive, so therefore one of these two numbers must be negative and one of them must be positive in order for both of them to be negative. Now, which one is negative, which one is positive? That's the question. So looking at 1 and 17, you can either have a -1 and a positive 17, or you can have a 1 and a -17. So if I did -1 plus 17, that gives us positive 16. That wouldn't work, so this one is not it. So if we do 1 minus 17, that gives us -16. So the 1 in this case is going to be the positive, and the 17 is going to be the negative. So x times x gives us x squared. X times 1 is x. -17 times x is -17x, which then added to the x gives us a -16x, and the -17 times 1, so -17 times 1 gives us the -17 we needed.